Hey, 4th grade, how's it going? Mr. Joseph here. Today we're going to continue learning about squares and rectangles and understand their different characteristics. So, let's get started. You can already see that we're going to be looking at the different shapes that can be recognized as squares and rectangles. Now, what we're going to be doing is playing a game. This game has you recognizing the description of a certain shape and then going through the different suspects. So let's look at the first description. It says square. Which suspect looks most like a square? Is it the first one, the clown, the second one, the model, or the third one is also called a model? Well, this third one's an isosceles triangle, so that can't be a square. This next one is also an isosceles triangle, so it's got to be the first one. All right, we captured him. Cool, let's go to the next one. Next question. Catch the criminal. Let's find out. Well, the suspect description again says trapezoid. Is it the first suspect, who is codenamed the Gentleman, real name Trapezoid? The second one is codenamed Gangster, real name Equilateral Triangle, which means that all three sides are the same. Or is it the third one, the isosceles triangle? Which one of these is a trapezoid? In other words, a four-sided shape with at least one pair of parallel sides. I think it's this first one. We caught him. Too bad. Good for us, though. Alright, that level's complete. Let's go to the next level. Catch the criminal. Let's see. Another description is the square. I think right away we found him. We didn't even need to look at this one or this one, right? What I'm going to do, boys and girls, is I'm going to leave you with the description of this exercise inside of the video notes. So you'll actually go to zapmath.com so you can play the rest of this game. All right? So we're going to actually X out of the game for now. And I just want to remind you that if you didn't get a chance to look at last week's video, which also talked about perpendicular and parallel lines, please check it out. Okay, that was the video from last week. Last time what we did was we were able to look at parallel and perpendicular lines and use a set square to study angles and lines. All right, so let's actually get started with today's lesson. Again, what we're doing is looking at squares and rectangles. Here are just a couple of examples of squares and rectangles on the screen. Let me just close that out, leave meeting, just so that I can focus on what we're doing right now. Okay, so we have a rectangle, which is a four-sided shape with opposite sides and angles, and a square is pretty similar, but this thing with a square is all the sides are always the same. Okay, with a rectangle you have two of the sides that are measured the same and another two sides that are measured the same. That's why you can see that there are two different colors represented here. Now there's other types of quadrilaterals like parallelograms, trapezoids, and kites. Each one of those has different characteristics. Last time we were able to look at page 130 and label each one of those sides, okay, the parallel sides and also the right angles. All right, so you should have already finished page 130 on the top. If you didn't, pause the video and do this on your own. What we're going to do now is go to the next part of page 130, okay? What it has us doing is filling in the blanks with either yes or no. So the first one says, is this a rectangle? Well, if we look at it very closely, boys and girls, we know that a rectangle is a four-sided shape with two of the sides that are exactly the same. So technically, the first one is a rectangle. Okay? So if we move this over, we can actually move this shape over. And that will show us that, yes, this is a rectangle. What about letter B? Pause the video and see if letter B is indeed a rectangle. All right, letter B is not a rectangle because it does not have parallel sides with right angles. Okay, it has parallel sides. These two are parallel, but these two are not. Okay, so that would actually be called a trapezoid or a rhombus in this case. See how the rhombus has parallel sides but doesn't have right angles? So this first one, boys and girls, is yes. And the second one is no. All right, so let's go on to the next question on page 130. What about letter C? Is letter C a square? Yes or no? Well, does it have right angles? Letter D has right angles and it has parallel sides. So actually, letter C is not a square. Write the word no on the blank. What about letter D? Is this one a square? Yes, it is, because it has parallel sides and right angles. All right, so those are your answers, boys and girls. What I'd like you to do is pause the video so you can try this next one on your own, letter E and F. All right, so hopefully you did letter E and F. Make sure that you did this one also right here. It says, is it a rectangle? Well, technically it is, because a rectangle is a square. Okay, a square is not necessarily a rectangle, but a rectangle is a square. Okay, let's do letter E. Is this a rectangle? Yes, it is. What about letter F? Is that a square? Well, I know it's a four-sided shape, because four-sided shapes are quadrilaterals, right? But a square has right angles, and it also has parallel sides. This one does not. So no, it's not a square. Let's check out the next problem. All right, so the next problem, boys and girls, has you writing the lengths of the unknown sides of the squares. So let's see. If I know that AD is 9 centimeters, and this is a square, each one of these is a square, what would be the length of AB? AB right here. Well, let's try to find it out. I know that since this is a square, all of these sides measure the same exact amount. So AB is also 9 centimeters. What about BC? Well, these are opposite sides. So BC is also going to be 9 centimeters. Skip to letter B. If I know that the measure of length MN is 7 meters, what would be the length of JK? JK is right here. So what would be the measure of that side? Well, it's also 7 meters. And MJ is 7 meters as well. Squares always have the same measurement of each side. Okay, let's go on to page 131 on the bottom. What I'd like you to do is read the directions and pause the video and try this on your own. The directions say, write the lengths of the unknown sides of the rectangles. I'm going to make this bigger, and I would like you to fill in the blanks with the answer that is correct for each side measurement. All right, boys and girls, so you can already see that the measurement of PS is 3 and the measurement of SR is 5. So what would be the measurement of PQ right here? PQ is going to be the same as SR. These two are the same. And what is the measurement of QR? QR is the same as PS, so they're going to be the same. What about letter B? What's the measurement of EF? Well, if HG is 12 meters, then EF is also 12 meters. And if EH is 6 meters, that means that FG is also 6 meters. Check your answers to make sure that they're right. Let's go on to the next problem. Page 131 asks us to write the lengths of the unknown sides. If we know that AB measures 4 centimeters, what would be AD? Pause the video and try to see if you can do this on your own. All right, let's check your answers. AD measures the same as AB. And with this next shape, the rectangle, it's the same thing, right? This side and this side are going to be the same, as well as HG and EF, right? So you should have had 5 centimeters and 14 centimeters. Check your answers to make sure that they're okay. Let's go on to page 132, exercise 2. This talks a little bit about the properties of squares and rectangles. The directions say, the figures are not drawn to scale. Find the measures of the unknown angles in each of the rectangles. Well, I know that right angles are always measured at 90 degrees. So if this angle right here is 60 degrees, then this angle plus this angle are going to equal 90. What's 90 minus 60? We would take 90 minus 60, and that would equal 30. So our angle measurement is 30 degrees, the measurement of CBD. So from here to here, this whole measurement right there is 30 degrees. 30 plus 60 is 90. Let's try the next one. We know that a right angle is always 90 degrees. So if we need to find the measurement of PRQ, which is right here, PRQ, we're going to take 90 degrees minus what we know. 90 minus 55 equals what? 90 minus 55 is 45. Oh, sorry, 35. 35. Okay? Make sure that you carry over to that tens place so that you can do your subtraction correctly. All right, if we wanted to check that, we could do 35 plus 55, which would equal 90 degrees. All right, so boys and girls, that's the end of this part of the lesson. If you would like to watch the brain pop video from last time, all you need to do is just go into the information from last time, okay, which I'd sent to your teacher, so you can watch that brain pop video, okay? The brain pop video password, username and password can be sent through your guide teacher if you would like it, okay? So this video that we're going to be watching today is all about parallel and perpendicular lines, or you could watch the one about quadrilaterals, okay? The one about quadrilaterals talks all about different shapes that you can use, okay? So check that out. What we're going to do at the end of the class now is we're going to be playing a game called I Know It. This game is going to give you an opportunity to identify quadrilaterals and non-quadrilaterals that are not parallelograms, right? So let's actually look at the first one together. The question says,
identify the quadrilateral that is not a parallelogram.
All right, so one that doesn't have parallel sides. Well, this one does not have parallel sides, but this, and this do. So let's click on this one. All right. And submit. Ooh, we got it. Okay. Next question. Okay, it says, which quadrilateral has 2 pairs of parallel sides? Well, this one does. This one only has 1 pair, just these 2. This one has no pairs of parallel sides, and neither does this one. This one actually just has 1. So the first one is correct. This one has 2 pairs of parallel sides. That robot really likes to dance, doesn't he? Okay, it says, drag the quadrilaterals with no right angles into the box. Remember, we just talked about right angles, what they were. Let me show you one more time what we're talking about. When we look at right angles, boys and girls, we want to know that it has that square right there, right? It's a 90-degree angle. So if we're looking at ones that do have right angles, this rectangle has right angles, and the rest of them do not have right angles. Okay, so that would be the only one that has right angles. See if we're correct. Okay, we got it. Oh, the question was which one does not have right angles. So Mr. Joseph did not read the directions closely enough. But these were the correct answers because the question said not. All right, so you guys can play this game later on. I will, again, save this in the notes. So this one's called iknowit.com. And then the last game that I'm going to show you, boys and girls, is all about identifying quadrilaterals. So let's actually play. You're going to be looking at quadrilaterals, squares, rectangles, parallelograms, rhombuses, and trapezoids. All right, so it says click on the quadrilaterals. Which one of them have 4 sides? Not a rectangle. This one's a pentagon. It has 5 sides. Here's a quadrilateral. And here, and here, and here, and here. Even though some of them don't have right angles, they're still considered quadrilaterals. Let's count this one. Yep, we got them. Look at that. Okay, next. Click on the squares. There's a square. There's a square. We got them. All right, next. Click on the rectangles. Ooh, that one's almost like a rectangle, but it's not quite. Doesn't have right angles. We got them. Okay, once again, I'm going to be putting this link in the video notes. So boys and girls, what we were able to do today is we were able to identify what is a square and a rectangle by understanding the parallel sides and right angles. We were also able to identify what was a rectangle or square and what wasn't, as well as look at the different angle measurements of rectangles and squares and play a couple of review games. Thanks for paying attention, boys and girls, and your participation. We will see you guys next time.